Jumbo! Jumbo! All right, you want to tell me that? Tell me something else. Can you imagine living in a place where nobody is allowed to eat, or in a place where nobody is allowed to sleep? Two Strange Villages is a delightful retelling of a story about a woman named Seta and her two daughters, Sinai and Sasha. Now, the three were of the Hausa tribe in West Africa, where northwest Nigeria meets southeast Niger. And it happened a long, long time ago when the two daughters were of marriageable age. And many, many months went by before the woman had finally and at last found husbands for her two daughters. But, and you know, there always is one. There was something strange and peculiar about these boys. And you guessed it, one came from a village where nobody was allowed to sleep, and the other from a village where nobody was allowed to eat. Now don't ask me how this was even possible. Perhaps the villages were under a spell or some other type of devilry, I don't know. But nonetheless, the fact remains that in one of them, nobody was allowed to sleep, and in the other, no one was allowed to eat. The two daughters didn't give too much weight to the strange circumstances because the brothers were not only wealthy, but Mama, they're so fine, they whined. So the daughters married. Our focus today, or our attention today, is on Sinai, the one who went to the village where nobody slept. She settled in a really, really nice home with many servants ready to just obey her every command and desire. I mean, brothers and sisters, Sinai was living the high life. The high life, hearing, she lacked of nothing except for the pleasure of sleep. And night after night of not sleeping a week, left that girl overwhelmed with fatigue. She became cranky and irritable. The spirit was dropping fast, as I'm sure you can imagine. Now, when her husband asked her, well, what's up with this change in attitude? Well, she tried to tell him. She said, well, sleep is absolutely essential for me. But what did he understand? He knew nothing about sleep. So she decided to write her mother a note, an invitation to come as their guest for a few days. Because as mothers will, and mothers do, Seta sensed that something was not right in the honeymoon camp. So she planned her journey, and she walked a day and a night, and she finally came to the village where nobody slept. And they greeted her finally, had a great banquet, food and drink overflowing. Supper was the center of many jokes, and I could see her, just like any other proud mother. She settled in that seat of honor just like a hen on a couple of eggs. And as the people applauded, Sinai said, Mama, don't eat too much or drink too much, or you'll get tired and run the risk of falling asleep. So I'll come to you later and explain things better. So after the guests left, the mother had to listen to the daughter's tirade. Mama, I just can't stand this life anymore. I said, I need sleep. But I'm afraid that if I do, I'll offend my new people and perhaps even be driven out. Well, I want to tell you that this whole affair just troubled Seta. And so much so that sleep was unmanageable for her. So now here it is, the break of dawn. Sinai is getting up and she's leaving the house to go and fetch water from the well. Mama, she called, I put milk on the fire. Says, why don't you boil for me while I'm away? So Seta gets up and she goes to sit next to the fireplace. And it was there that the warmth of the embers mixed with that sweet fragrance of that milk. And that joined with the fatigue of her sleepless night. Mama didn't have a chance, I tell you, not a chance. And Lord have mercy, Seta yawned. It only takes another couple of minutes before her head starts to nod and sleep gets the upper hand, so she stretches out in front of the fireplace and she immediately falls asleep and just at that precise moment, don't you know, here comes a neighbor for some of that hot milk. So she comes through the door, Sarah, she calls and gets no answer. So she walks toward the fireplace and she calls her again. Sarah, I just came for a little, and she stops. I need, she screams, because she thinks that she sees Sarah on the floor dead. She drops the bowl and says, help, help, she cries. This poor woman, she is dead. And Lord, Lord, there is an uproar in the village now. You got that one running this way, this one running to beat the drum with some of the rest of the people in the village. And there's even a small group who's already started the homegoing ceremony. So then I starts running toward home to see what the matter. And as soon as she walks past that threshold, she could tell what was going on. Quiet, everybody, quiet, she shouts over the commotion. Then she looks around at the expression on their faces and she couldn't help but laugh. She says, my mother is not dead, she's asleep. What? So now the only thing that you hear is the heavy sound of silence and all the eyes are rested on Sinai. Yes, she sighs. Sleep is normal for us. It's not death. And she shook her nose, shook her heart. Setha woke up with a start. She sits straight up and starts rubbing her eyes. And now the villagers gasp in fear because they think this woman just came back to life. Poor Setha. So in between yawns, she says, sleep is necessary and it's natural. It is not death. Do not be afraid. When she turned around in the crowd, she says, sleep is good for you. It restores your strength. It restores your spirit. Do not be afraid. And like a mantra, she said, sleep is good for you. It does what? It restores your spirit. Yes, it does. Do not be afraid. Poof, it was like a spell had been broken. It was on that day that the people in the village discovered the pleasure of sleep. So now, Setha will make her way home on the next morning, but of course, after a restful night's slumber. And tonight, that girl, she's still living the high life. Fat, restful, and certainly very happy with the fine man she made.